guys, welcome you all to the Insights into Books podcast. Before we start, kindly follow or subscribe to us to get updated. Now, let's start today's discussion, guys. So today, we're embarking on, well, quite a profound deep dive, actually. We're looking into what it truly means to live a long life, but crucially, how to live it well.
Right. It's a huge topic.
It is. We're going to explore this really revolutionary shift in how we think about our health. Moving beyond just, adding years.
Just adding quality to those years.
Exactly. It's not just about the number, the lifespan. It's about adding life to your time. We'll unpack this critical difference between lifespan, simply how long you live, and health span.
Which is that period, hopefully a very long period, where you're vibrant, you're free from disease, disability, you're maintaining your physical function, your cognitive function.
It really is a game changer for how we view aging, isn't it? It challenges us to redefine what success looks like in our later years.
Absolutely. And what's really insightful here, I think, is that this isn't just semantics. It's not just playing with words. It fundamentally alters our core objective.
How so?
Well, for generations, medicine has done an incredible job, really, at extending lifespan, often at any cost, thanks to amazing advancements in treating acute stuff.
Right. Things that used to kill people quickly.
Exactly. What they used to call fast deaths. Think infections like pneumonia, TB, things that took lives rapidly. But today, we face a very different challenge. It's more insidious.
The chronic diseases.
The slow deaths, yeah. Chronic conditions like cancer, heart disease, specifically atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, neurodegenerative decline, metabolic dysfunction.
The four horsemen we'll get into.
Precisely. These diseases, they don't typically kill quickly. They can keep someone alive for decades, but often with a huge burden of suffering. Diminished quality of life, disability.
Yeah, that's not the goal, is it?
Not at all. So the strategic goal shifts dramatically. It's no longer just about prolonging existence. It's about proactively delaying or ideally preventing these chronic illnesses altogether.
So living longer without the illness rather than lingering with it.
That's the core idea. Medicine's biggest failing, you could argue, in this modern context is often that it's reactive. It waits for these things to get entrenched before trying these heroic, often late-stage interventions.
When the damage is already done, in many cases.
Exactly. Our focus really needs to be upstream, long before symptoms even appear.
And that's where you, our listener, really come into this. I mean, we've all seen it, haven't we? Maybe through family, friends. The challenges that can come with aging.
Yeah.
Mobility loss, memory struggles, chronic pain.
It's tough to witness.
It really is. So this deep dive isn't just academic. It's about giving you the understanding, that strategic mindset, and hopefully some actionable tools to actively pursue a future where you maintain function, physical, cognitive, for as long as you possibly can.
Thinking about what that actually looks like for you personally.
Right. So as you're listening, maybe take a moment. What does an active, vibrant later life look like for you? Is it hiking at 80, playing with great-grandkids, learning something new, just staying independent, mentally sharp?
It varies for everyone.
Absolutely. But understanding this difference, lifespan versus health span, that's the foundational first step. Rethinking how we not only live longer, but how we live better, with purpose, with vitality, for decades.
Okay, so building on that crucial distinction, let's talk about this revolutionary way of approaching health, something being called Medicine 3.0.
Right. It's a paradigm shift.
It really feels like it. A profound break from the traditional model, Medicine 2.0, which most of us know well. That model often feels, well, frustratingly reactive, doesn't it?
It does. You wait for a problem, a symptom, a diagnosis, then you act.
There's that powerful metaphor, I think it was Bishop Desmond Tutu, about pulling people out of the river.
There comes a point where we need to stop just pulling people out of the river. We need to go upstream and find out why they're falling in. Exactly. And Medicine 3.0 is about committing to going upstream, fundamentally changing our relationship with our own health.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Medicine 3.0 is this proactive paradigm. It shifts our focus squarely onto early prevention, highly personalized strategies, and really acknowledging individual risk factors.
So moving beyond the one-size-fits-all advice.
Way beyond it. That often fails because we're all so biologically diverse. This framework prioritizes precision medicine, tailoring interventions to your unique biochemistry, your genetic predispositions, your lifestyle.
So it really empowers the individual, the patient.
Absolutely. It encourages you to become medically literate, a proactive advocate for your own health, working with your healthcare providers, collaborating.
It's not about diagnosing yourself online or anything like that.
No, not at all. It's about being empowered with knowledge asking informed questions, making proactive choices long before problems show up. Think of it like Noah building the ark.
Long before it started to rain.
Exactly. This proactive approach is about building your health arc well in advance, using foresight, using data, recognizing that just relying on population averages, well, it's a starting point, but it might not be enough for you.
Because my response to something could be totally different from yours.
Totally different. Your genetics, your environment, your history, it all plays a role. It's moving from what's often felt like a reactive sick care system to a truly proactive healthcare system.
That's a powerful way to put it. Building the ark, not waiting for the flood. And what's crucial here, for you listening, is that this isn't about being passive. It's about being an informed participant.
Taking the reins.
Yeah. Understanding your body's signals, maybe looking at personalized test data, having conversations with your doctor that go beyond just reacting to symptoms. You're building that arc.
Not just waiting for the standard blood panel to come back normal.
Right, because as we'll get into, normal isn't always optimal, is it?
Not by a long shot. Often.
Okay, so if we're embracing this new vision, this Medicine 3.0, the big question is, how do we actually navigate it effectively? It seems complex.
It can feel that way.
We often jump straight to the what to do, right? The tactics. Specific diets, trendy workouts.
Or quick fixes.
Yeah. But the real power, the lasting success, that seems to lie in having a solid strategy first. There's that brilliant Sun Tzu quote.
Ah, yes. Strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat.
And there's so much noise in the health and wellness space, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost chasing the latest fad without a clear why.
Absolutely critical, this distinction. Strategy versus tactics in health.
Yeah.
Your strategy is your overarching approach, your conceptual scaffolding. It's the mental model, informed by science, tailored to your long-term goals for health span, lifespan. It's the why and the what.
And the tactics.
Tactics are the specific actions that flow from that strategy. The workout routine, the food choices, the sleep habits, stress management. Those are your hows.
And without this strategy.
You're just lost in the noise. You get caught on that merry-go-round of fad diets, trendy workouts, miracle supplements, chasing shiny objects without a plan, wasting time, money, motivation.
So the strategy is like an investment plan for your health.
Exactly, a health investment strategy. You're looking for tactics, the specific actions that are most likely to give you a better-than-average return on your health capital based on evidence within your risk tolerance, fitting your goals, guided by that long-term vision.
Makes sense. And this affects how we look at evidence too, right? Not just waiting for the perfect huge study.
Right. This strategic approach needs a more, let's say, sophisticated view of scientific evidence. The purists of purely evidence-based medicine sometimes demand randomized controlled trials, RCTs, for everything.
Which are the gold standard, sure, but
waiting for RCTs for every single aspect of longevity, it's often impractical, sometimes impossible. Imagine a 50-year lifestyle intervention RCT.
you'd never get the results.
Exactly. So instead, we use an evidence-informed approach. We combine insights from lots of different reliable sources. Each gives us a piece of the puzzle.
Like what kind of sources?
Okay, so we look at centenarian studies, populations that live exceptionally long, healthy lives. What are they doing? We look at animal models. If something extends lifespan or health span in worms, flies, mice, monkeys, across huge evolutionary distances.
It suggests a fundamental pathway.
Exactly, conserved biology. It's worth paying attention to. Then you have human population studies, molecular insights understanding the mechanisms, how things work at a cellular level, and things like Mendelian randomization studies.
What's that again?
It basically uses natural genetic variations as a kind of proxy for randomization, like nature running its own experiment to help figure out cause and effect without the ethical or practical hurdles of a massive long-term trial.
As you piece it all together.
You build a composite view. It helps us make informed decisions, build robust strategies, even when that perfect decades-long RCT doesn't exist. It lets us be proactive, build health, not just react to disease.
That's crucial. It moves us beyond getting stuck waiting for perfect proof into intelligent, informed action. And for you, listening, this deep dive is really about giving you that strategic mindset.
Thinking critically.
Yes. Why are you doing what you're doing for your health? How does it fit your long-term goals? What's the range of evidence behind it? It's about discerning good guidance from noise, building your personal roadmap.
With clarity and purpose.
Okay, let's unpack this. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. We have the strategy mindset. What are we actually strategizing against?
The big threats.
Right. The 4 horsemen, as they've been called. the major chronic diseases causing most of the suffering and death today. First up, the biggest killer globally: atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, ASCVD, heart disease, stroke.
The numbers are staggering.
Aren't they? An estimated 2,300 deaths daily just in the U.S. from this. And here's the kicker, the part that really underlines the need for early action. Half of all major cardiovascular events in men, a third in women, happen before age 65.
And for a retirement age, often.
And a quarter of events in men happen before age 54. This is not just an old person's disease. It's a silent threat that often starts way, way earlier.
Decades earlier. And a key insight here is really understanding the mechanics. Atherosclerosis. You can think of it like a scene of a crime inside your arteries.
Okay, I like analogies.
Imagine your blood vessel is a street. The artery wall is lined with houses, and in front of those houses is a delicate fence that's the endothelium. A single layer of cells lining all our blood vessels. It's critical.
The first line of defense.
Exactly. Now, if that fence, the endothelium, gets damaged, maybe from smoking, that's chemical damage, or high blood pressure, that's mechanical stress.
It creates an opening.
Right. It allows for breaking and entering. Low-density lipoproteins, LDL particles, breach that barrier. They get stuck inside the artery wall.
And that causes problems.
It triggers inflammation, and over time, plaque forms. We talk about non-calcified plaques, often softer, more dangerous because they can rupture and cause clots, and calcified ones, generally more stable, but still a sign of disease. The key is, this process can start silently when we're young, teens, 20s.
Wow. And what about dietary cholesterol? We heard so much about that for so long.
Ah, yes. That's a great example of how science evolves, and sometimes guidelines lag behind. For decades, the advice was strict avoidance. But we now know the vast majority of cholesterol in our blood isn't from food, it's made by our own liver.
So the eggs weren't the enemy after all.
For most people, no. As far back as '97, experts noted no real connection for humans. It took until 2015 for the U.S. dietary guidelines to finally say dietary cholesterol isn't a nutrient of concern for overconsumption. Decades later.
Shows how sticky old ideas can be.
Doesn't it? Now, crucially, for assessing risk today, we know that ApoB is generally a much better predictor than just LDL cholesterol, or LDL-C.
Okay, explain ApoB again.
LDL-C measures the amount of cholesterol carried by LDL particles. ApoB measures the number of those LDL particles themselves, and it's really the number of these atherogenic particles, the ones that can cause plaque that drives risk.
So more particles, even if they aren't carrying much cholesterol each, is still bad.
Often worse, yes. Think of it like traffic. Lots of small cars can cause more congestion and accidents than a few large buses carrying the same number of people. ApoB counts the cars, the particles. Studies show a strong link. Each standard deviation increase in ApoB raises heart attack risk by about 38% in people without prior events.
That's significant.
Very. So the strategic goal becomes aggressive. Lower ApoB to the very low levels seen in healthy children, maybe below 60 milli-GDL. This often needs a combo of nutrition, like cutting back saturated fats, refined carbs, and, for many, medications.
Like statins.
Statins, yes, or PCSK9 inhibitors. And think of statins not just as cholesterol-lowering, but as drugs that help the liver clear these ApoB particles from the blood by boosting LDL receptors. We also look at things like LPA, a particularly nasty type of LDL, and inflammation markers to get the full picture.
So this brings up a really important point for you, the listener. What's your time horizon for preventing this? Standard medical checks often look at your 10-year risk.
Which is far too short, given this disease develops over decades.
Exactly. It's like telling a smoker to quit only when their 10-year lung cancer risk hits a certain point. It's madness. We need a rest-of-your-life perspective.
Thinking 30, 40, 50 years ahead.
Yes. A 2018 paper showed that looking 30 years out and being aggressive early could prevent vastly more heart attacks and strokes. So here's a direct action step. Next time you see your doctor, ask for an ApoB test.
It's generally inexpensive, maybe $20 or $30.
And it gives you invaluable, personalized information for your risk. Helping you play that long game for your heart health could literally save your life decades from now. Okay, let's shift gears. From the silent killer, heart disease, to the second horseman, cancer.
The runaway cell.
Yes. Another huge challenge, often thought of as formidable, especially because effective treatments can be elusive once it's really taken hold.
Which means our best strategy often is defense. Radical early detection and prevention, catching those runaway cells early.
Before they cause chaos. But screening isn't straightforward, is it?
It's complex. Reliable screening only exists for a handful of cancers right now: lung for heavy smokers, breast, prostate, colorectal, cervical, and even there are debates.
Like about mammograms or PSA tests?
Exactly. Sometimes guidelines even pull back from universal screening. Why? Concerns about cost? Yes, but also the risk of false positives.
Finding something that looks like cancer but isn't or wouldn't have caused harm.
Precisely. That can lead to unnecessary anxiety, invasive biopsies, maybe even harmful treatments like surgery or radiation for something that would never have become life-threatening. There's a story about a frail elderly patient on blood thinners who had serious complications from a colonoscopy.
That maybe wasn't strictly necessary given their overall low risk?
Arguably, yes. It highlights the ethical tightrope and the need for truly individualized risk-benefit chats before ordering tests. The goal is catching aggressive, deadly cancers early, not overtreating harmless lesions.
But the detection landscape is changing, right? With new technologies.
Rapidly. Things like liquid biopsies are emerging. Tests like Gallery, for example. These are blood tests looking for tiny fragments of cancer DNA shed into the bloodstream.
And they can tell you if cancer is likely present and where it might be.
That's the potential, yes. They tend to have very high specificity, meaning very few false positives, which is great, around 99.5%. But their sensitivity, the ability to correctly identify cancer when it is present, can vary a lot. Depends on the cancer type, the stage.
So a negative test doesn't absolutely guarantee you're clear.
Not for everything, no. But a positive result is highly suggestive and definitely needs follow-up. It's early days for widespread use, but it's a major leap in multi-cancer early detection potential.
And beyond detection. What about prevention or treatment strategies?
There are novel dietary interventions showing promise, leveraging cancer cells' unique metabolic needs. For instance, some cancer cells rely heavily on glucose. Ketogenic diets, which starve them of glucose while healthy cells adapt to using fat, might synergize with other treatments.
Interesting.
Also, fasting mimicking diets. Some research suggests they can make normal cells more resistant to chemo while making cancer cells more vulnerable. It's about hitting cancer from multiple angles, maybe combining therapies with these metabolic strategies to reduce resistance.
So for you listening, this means being informed about screening guidelines, yes, but discussing them critically with your doctor based on your personal profile, your family history, your risks.
Absolutely. And keeping an eye on new tech like liquid biopsies, understanding their pros and cons.
And maybe most importantly, recognizing that your metabolic health is a huge factor in cancer prevention.
A cornerstone. Avoiding insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes. That's not just about blood sugar. It's a fundamental part of an anti-cancer strategy. Our metabolic state impacts everything from our vulnerability to cancer starting to how well treatments might work. It's holistic.
It's not just genetic bad luck, then. Lifestyle plays a big role.
A very significant role, yes.
Okay, on to the third horseman. Neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's in particular. This one hits differently, doesn't it? Maybe the most difficult, most intractable. It evokes such deep fears about losing ourselves, our memories.
It's a devastating disease, absolutely.
And what I find fascinating here is how our understanding seems to be shifting, moving beyond just focusing on, say, amyloid plaques.
Indeed. What's really insightful from newer research is that while those amyloid beta plaques are a hallmark of Alzheimer's, their presence might be neither necessary nor sufficient to actually cause the disease.
So they're a feature, but maybe not the root cause or the only cause.
Exactly. It challenges that long-held amyloid hypothesis and forces us to look at other crucial factors. Things like vascular health in the brain, chronic inflammation, problems with glucose metabolism. These aren't just side issues. They seem to play a direct causal role in the neurodegenerative process.
So what are the key risk factors we should know about?
Well, genetics plays a role. Carrying 2 copies of the APOE4 gene, for example, significantly ramps up risk, maybe up to 12 times higher. But critically,
It's not a guarantee.
absolutely not. It increases susceptibility. It doesn't seal your fate. Other factors are huge, too. Type 2 diabetes doubles or even triples the risk. That brain metabolism link again.
And there's some surprising ones, too.
There are. Hearing loss, for instance, is clearly associated. The theory is maybe withdrawing socially because you can't hear well deprives the brain of vital stimulation, causing it to kind of wither or decline faster.
Or even oral hygiene.
Yes, even poor oral hygiene.
Yeah.
Gum disease causes systemic inflammation, and that inflammation seems to be linked to increased risk. The brain isn't isolated. It's connected to everything.
So what can we do? Proactive prevention.
Several things stand out. Quality sleep is profoundly important. We'll dive deeper later, but sleep is when the brain's cleaning system, the glymphatic system, clears out waste products like amyloid.
So brushing and flossing is actually brain care.
It seems like it could be, yes,
Yeah.
reducing that systemic inflammation. And here's a really surprising one: regular sauna use.
Sauna? Really?
Yes, studies, particularly out of Finland, suggest that using a sauna at least 4 times a week for 20 minutes or more at around 179 degrees Afelar or hotter, that's associated with up to a 65% reduction in Alzheimer's risk, and also about a 50% reduction in fatal cardiovascular events.
That's incredible. Any idea why?
The mechanisms aren't fully pinned down. Could be improved blood vessel function, reduced inflammation, activation of heat shock proteins, which protects cells. It really reinforces how interconnected everything is. We say what's good for the heart is good for the brain. We can add what's good for the liver and pancreas is good for the brain. Vascular health, metabolic health, absolutely crucial for cognitive function long term. It's a holistic view of brain resilience.
So for you, the listener, what can you do now to protect your brain decades down the line? It's not just about crossword puzzles, is it?
No. It means comprehensive cognitive testing, maybe including things like sense of smell, which can decline early, understanding your genetics, like APOE4 status, but using that knowledge to motivate preventative action, not to feel doomed.
Because genetics aren't destiny.
Exactly. They're predispositions. And most importantly, it means focusing relentlessly on those modifiable lifestyle factors we're talking about: sleep, exercise, nutrition, managing inflammation, playing the very long game for your brain health starting today. Your choices now shape your cognitive future.
Let's tackle the fourth horseman then. Metabolic dysfunction. This feels like a hidden epidemic, doesn't it? Because it often underlies and worsens the other three we've just discussed.
It really fuels the fire for the others, yes.
And it's not just about being overweight. It's a deeper systemic issue. The stats are just stark. Nearly half the U.S. adult population is either pre-diabetic or has full-blown type 2 diabetes.
It's staggering. A true crisis driven by our modern diet and lifestyle. A slow-motion disaster eroding health span.
So what's at the core of this? Insulin resistance.
Exactly. That's the key concept to grasp. Imagine your cells are like balloons you're trying to fill with air glucose in this case. Insulin is the helper that pushes the air in.
Okay.
With insulin resistance, the cells become resistant. They don't respond well to insulin's signal. It gets harder to push the glucose inside. So to keep blood sugar normal, what did your pancreas do?
It has to make more insulin. Work harder.
Precisely. It pumps out more and more insulin. This postprandial insulin spike, a big, prolonged surge of insulin after eating carbs or sugar, that's the canary in the coal mine.
It shows up even before blood sugar goes way up.
Often, yes. Even when your fasting glucose looks normal, which brings up that point again.
Yeah.
Why isn't normal always healthy?
Because the average is shifting downwards.
Exactly. As the population gets less healthy metabolically, the normal range shifts. But average isn't optimal. You don't want to be average. You want to be in the best range for preventing disease.
And the consequences of being insulin resistant long term.
They are profound. Dire, really. Studies link insulin resistance itself to huge risk increases for the other horsemen. Cancer risk up to 12-fold higher. Alzheimer's risk 5-fold higher. Death from cardiovascular disease almost 6-fold higher.
Wow. It connects everything.
It really does, which is why tackling, or ideally preventing, metabolic dysfunction is foundational to many longevity strategy. And stress this, obesity doesn't automatically mean metabolic dysfunction.
You can be thin, but still metabolically unhealthy.
Yes. The 2FI phenomenon, thin outside, fat inside. You can look healthy but have dangerous visceral fat accumulating around your organs. That's why tools like annual DEXA scans can be valuable.
To measure that hidden visceral fat.
Exactly. It gives a clearer picture of metabolic risk, regardless of your BMI or scale weight. Fundamentally, our ancient genes evolved for scarcity, just aren't built for today's world of constant abundance, especially processed foods loaded with sugars like fructose. It overloads the system, drives insulin resistance.
So this is a cornerstone for you listening. Taking action now, not just relying on a basic fasting glucose test.
Right. Ask your doctor about an oral glucose tolerance test, OGTT, or insulin response tests.
Yeah.
They can reveal those early warning signs, those insulin spikes.
And what about continuous glucose monitors, CGMs?
They can be a game changer for personalization. Seeing in real time how your body reacts to different foods, sleep, stress. It's incredibly empowering.
You see exactly what spikes your glucose.
Yes. How specific carbs affect you, how poor sleep messes with your glucose control the next day, how stress can raise it. It lets you make informed, data-driven tweaks that are unique to you, moving beyond generic diet advice. It transforms your understanding.
Okay, let's move to interventions. Pillars of support. And maybe the biggest one, arguably the most powerful longevity drug we have. Exercise.
Absolutely. Its impact is just system-wide.
But it's not just about, hitting the gym randomly. It's a mindset shift, isn't it? Cultivating this athlete of life approach, training for a long, vibrant life.
That's the frame.
And here's where it gets really inspiring. The concept of the Centenarian Decathlon.
I love this idea.
It's not an Olympic event, right? It's your personal list.
Yeah.
Maybe 10, 15 physical things you want to be able to do effortlessly in your 80s, 90s, even 100.
Like picking up a 30-pound grandchild without thinking twice.
Or climbing stairs easily. Opening a jar, getting up off the floor without help. Things we take for granted now.
And what's transformative is how this framework changes your training today. If you set a trajectory to be vibrant and capable at 90, guess what? You become a seriously kick-ass 50-year-old along the way.
Like the archer aiming for 100 yards becomes deadly accurate at 50.
Exactly. Your Centenarian Decathlon then informs your training, built around 4 key pillars: strength, stability, aerobic efficiency, and peak aerobic capacity. And it might surprise people.
Going?
Cardiorespiratory fitness, VO2 max, and muscle strength are almost equally predictive of living longer and living better. Muscle mass is crucial for preventing falls, a huge cause of death and loss of independence in older adults.
So it's not just about longevity, it's functional independence, resilience, doing what you love without limits.
Designing your training today for the life you want decades from now.
So this isn't about just slowing decline. It's about actively getting better, building capacity, investing in future physical freedom. So for you listening, what specific activities define quality of life for you later on? Gardening, travel, playing with pets, carrying groceries.
What's on your list?
Yeah. What are the 10 or 15 things on your Centenarian Decathlon? And how can your training today start making those goals real? Become that athlete of life.
Okay. We've got the inspiring goal, the Centenarian Decathlon. How do we train for it? Let's break down the physical parts, starting with the engine, aerobic training. We'll dive into Zone 2, and then VO2 max.
Right. Zone 2 is foundational for metabolic health.
And it's accessible, right? Pretty much anyone can start.
Absolutely. Zone 2 is basically a pace where you could hold a conversation, but it would feel a bit strained. Not super easy chatting, usually around 70–85% of your max heart rate.
And why is it so important?
It builds metabolic flexibility. That's your body's ability to efficiently burn both fat and glucose for fuel, even as intensity increases. It's a sign of healthy, happy mitochondria, the power plants in your cells.
So you become better at using fat. Exactly. Think of pro cyclists generating huge power while still burning mostly fat. Compare that to someone with metabolic syndrome who relies almost solely on glucose. Zone 2 builds more mitochondria, makes them work better, improves how they handle lactate. It's key for preventing metabolic disease.
How much do we need?
The general recommendation is maybe 3 to 4 sessions a week, around 45 minutes each. Consistency is key.
And then after building that base...
After maybe 5 or 6 months of consistent Zone 2, you introduce VO2 max training. The VO2 max test itself. Well, it's not fun.
Pushing to your absolute limit on a bike or treadmill?
Pretty much, yeah. Measuring oxygen use. But it gives you this incredibly valuable number, your peak aerobic capacity. Arguably the single most powerful marker for longevity. It shows how well your body delivers and uses oxygen at max effort.
And what's the goal for VO2 max?
Aim high. Get into the elite range for your age and sex, roughly top 2%. And if you hit that, maybe even aim for the elite level for someone 2 decades younger.
Is that even possible? Doesn't it decline with age?
It does decline naturally, maybe 10% a decade, faster after 50. But it can always be improved. Remember Robert Marchand, boosting his VO2 max at 101 and 103. Age is not a barrier here.
Incredible. How do you train for it?
Typically with intervals. A common structure is 4 minutes at the hardest pace you can sustain for that 4 minutes, really tough but controllable, followed by 4 minutes of easy recovery. Repeat that 4 to 6 times.
How often?
Just once a week is usually enough. It provides a huge boost. And the payoff is immense. Just improving from the bottom 25% for VO2 max to the next 25%, that's linked to nearly a 50% drop in all-cause mortality.
Wow. That's like turning back the clock.
It's like subtracting maybe 12 years from your biological age. Huge impact.
Amazing. So for you listening, Zone 2, you can start today with the talk test. If conversation is possible but strained, you're probably there. No fancy gear needed.
Just get moving consistently.
And know that even small gains in VO2 max yield massive longevity benefits, a powerful investment in your future health and energy. Now let's talk strength training, the retirement saving for your body.
Great analogy. Building that reserve.
Building that robust reserve of muscle, bone density, protecting against injury, maintaining function as we age. Because sarcopenia, muscle loss, starts quietly after 30.
Declining 3-8% a decade if you're not fighting it. By 80, you could lose a lot, leading to frailty, dependence.
So we need to build that physical 401k. What goes into a good strength program?
Several critical parts. First, grip strength. Hugely important. Tons of research links better grip strength later in life to lower overall mortality risk. Stronger correlation than blood pressure, even.
Not just opening jars, then.
No. It's grabbing a railing to stop a fall. Falls are a leading cause of accidental death and lost independence for older adults. How to train it? Farmer's carries. Walk holding heavy weights. Aim for half your body weight in each hand for a minute.
That's tough.
It is. Another great one. Dead hang from a pull-up bar. Aim for 2 minutes for men, 90 seconds for women by age 40. Builds grip endurance, shoulder stability.
Got you. What else?
Second, focus on both concentric and eccentric loading. Concentric is lifting, muscle shortening. Eccentric is lowering, muscle lengthening under tension. You need to control the weight both up and down.
The lowering part is important, too.
Critically important. Eccentric work often causes more muscle microdamage, which leads to greater strength gains. So consciously slow down the lowering phase of pull-ups, rows, deadlifts. Rucking downhill hiking with a weighted pack is fantastic eccentric work for the legs.
Makes sense.
Third, pulling motions, overhead pull-ups, rows from different angles, vital for back and upper body strength, plus they hit grip hard.
And fourth,
Hip hinging movements, foundational. Deadlifts, squats, Romanian deadlifts, plus variations like step-ups, lunges, hip thrusters. Key is bending at the hips, not the spine, engaging those powerful glutes, hamstrings, lower back. Essential for everything from walking to lifting safely. Incorporating rucking, hiking with weight, maybe 14 to 13 body weight once you're strong enough, combines cardio and resistance, builds bone density too.
how often for strength?
2 to 3 sessions a week is usually a good target.
So this is about consciously building the capacity you'll need later. Asking yourself, what do I want to do effortlessly? And investing in that strength now.
Not just looking strong, but being functionally strong, resilient, independent for decades, making your body serve you, not limit you.
Okay, rounding out exercise.
Yeah.
The gospel of stability. This isn't just balancing on one leg, is it? It's more fundamental.
Much more. It's about relearning how to move safely, efficiently, to prevent injury. Because injuries sideline people. They lead to decline, muscle loss, lower quality of life.
Even old college sports injuries can impact life quality decades later.
Exactly. Stability is about protecting your ability to move throughout life, handling the unexpected.
So what is stability technically?
A good definition is the subconscious ability to harness, decelerate, or stop force. Making sure force goes through muscles and bones safely, not vulnerable joints or your spine. A stable person reacts automatically, adjusts tension appropriately without conscious thought.
And we look to kids for inspiration.
We do. Frameworks like Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization, DNS, or Postural Restoration Institute, PRI, draw from the natural, effortless movement patterns of babies and toddlers. They move with incredible stability, which we often lose.
Where do we start rebuilding it?
With the breath. Breath training. Most of us breathe shallowly from the chest. We aim for three-dimensional breathing, belly and rib cage expanding together, and importantly, learning to pause after exhaling to engage deep core muscles, like the transversus abdominis. Creates a stable core.
And then?
It goes down to your feet, your foundation, often totally ignored. We talk about toe yoga, learning to move toes independently. Sounds easy, it's not. Thinking of your foot having 4 corners rooted to the ground for better proprioception, your body's sense of position.
Understanding flat feet versus high arches.
Right. Pronation, flat tires, movement sloshes around, versus supination, overinflated tires bouncing. Both affect the whole chain, ankles, knees, hips, back. That's why lifting barefoot or in minimal shoes can be great, enhances foot feedback, rebuilds strength.
Only key tests.
The single leg balance test with eyes closed, holding for 10 seconds at age 50 plus correlates with longevity, similar to grip strength, shows its importance. And a practical tip, film yourself working out.
See what you're really doing.
Exactly, not what you think you're doing. It's eye-opening for correcting form, preventing long-term compensations that lead to injury.
So stability training helps build a resilient body from the ground up. Preventing injuries, yes, but also enhancing functional strength, freedom of movement for decades.
Giving you confidence to move through life, handle surprises, making movement a joy, not a worry.
Let's pivot now. Nutrition,
Yeah.
always a hot topic, so many opinions, diet wars.
A lot of noise for sure.
And that core idea,
Mm.
there was one perfect diet for everyone, is absolutely incorrect. It feels like an ideological battlefield sometimes.
It often is.
So what does this mean for you, the listener? We're reframing it. Moving from diet, which sounds restrictive, emotional, to nutritional biochemistry.
Bringing it back to science, individual response.
How does that work?
It takes us out of ideology, back to science. How do specific food compounds affect your unique health variables? This Nutrition 3.0 asks 3 key questions to guide you. Are you undernourished or overnourished? Under-muscled or adequately muscled? Metabolically healthy or not?
And your honest, data-driven answers shape your strategy.
Exactly, a personalized approach that actually works for you.
Okay, let's get specific. Protein.
Hugely important, and the standard RDA, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. It's often called a joke by experts. It's bare minimum survival, not thriving. Not enough to fight sarcopenia.
Studies show muscle loss even on that amount.
Yes, even in elderly people, significant loss within weeks. So for active people with healthy kidneys, we recommend minimum 1.6 gigakilog day, ideally closer to 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's 2.2 gigakilog day.
Why so much?
Supports muscle building and repair, helps maintain muscle as you age, promotes satiety feeling full, which can help manage calories, and spread it out through the day.
Because you can't store protein like fat.
Right. Aim for maybe 30-50 grams per meal. Lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, quality plant proteins.
Okay. What about fats? Saturated, unsaturated?
Right. 3 main types. Saturated, SFA. Monounsaturated, MUFA. Polyunsaturated, PUFA. Remember, foods are usually a mix. The approach suggests aiming for MUFAs, think olive oil, macadamia nuts, avocados, to be maybe 50-55% of your fat intake.
And saturated fats.
Reduce SFAs from butter, red meat, coconut oil to maybe 15-20%. And crucially, supplement with marine omega-3s, EPA, and DHA if you don't eat fatty fish several times a week.
But people respond differently to fats, right?
Profoundly different. Some people, like me actually, can handle saturated fat without their ApoB shooting up. Others see dramatic increases. This highlights why personalized data beats dogma. We hear about that for longevity.
Proven benefits in animals, yes.
Yeah.
Extends lifespan, health span. Seems to work partly by activating autophagy cellular cleanup.
But hard for humans long term. Very hard. Often unsustainable. Potential risks like frailty, infections. So there's huge interest in drugs that mimic CR benefits without extreme restriction. 2 big ones. Rapamycin.
Found on Easter Island.
That's the one. Inhibits mTOR, a key cell growth regulator. Dosed cyclically, it seems to offer benefits with fewer side effects by dialing back growth signals. The other is metformin.
The diabetes drug.
Yes. In non-diabetics, it shows promise maybe reducing cancer risk, improving metabolic markers. Some studies even hint diabetics on metformin live longer than healthy non-diabetics, though that's observational.
So more research needed, but interesting.
Definitely. Big trials like TAME are looking into metformin for aging. Exciting potential avenues.
So the bottom line for nutrition is finding your optimal pattern. Using data, feedback.
Not following a rigid generic diet.
Using tools like CGM to see your unique responses to food, sleep, stress, how carbs spike your glucose, how sleep affects your control, how stress impacts your sugar.
Exactly. Personalization empowers you. Make informed choices based on your biochemistry. Become your own N-of-1 experiment, guided by data, not dogma.
Let's talk about something universally accessible, incredibly powerful, but so often overlooked. Sleep.
The best medicine for your brain and body.
We treat it like a luxury, don't we? Sacrifice it for work, screens, but the consequences are huge.
Severe. Poor sleep triggers a cascade. Insulin resistance, cognitive decline, emotional instability. It puts you in constant fight or flight. Cortisol up, blood glucose up.
And even sleeping too much can be a red flag.
Yeah, like 11 plus hours consistently might mean poor quality sleep or maybe an underlying illness. Your body's trying to compensate.
So what can we actually do? Actionable strategies for better sleep.
Lots we can do, starting with the environment. Darkness. Critically important. Make your bedroom a cave. Blackout curtains, cover every tiny LED, ditch the digital clock.
Even tiny lights disrupt melatonin.
They can.
Yeah.
And clocks cause anxiety. An eye mask is a cheap, effective fix. Second, temperature. Cool is key. Around 65 degrees Sarah, 18 degrees. A drop in core body temp signals sleep.
A warm bath before bed helps with that. Seems counterintuitive.
Paradoxically, yes. It brings blood to the skin surface, so you cool down faster after you get out, aiding that temperature drop.
Okay, what else? Behavioral things.
Crucial behavioral guardrails. Alcohol. It wrecks sleep quality, fragments it, reduces REM, even if it helps you nod off initially. Best avoid it entirely or limit to one drink, early, before 6 p.m. maybe.
And eating before bed.
Don't eat for at least 3 hours before bed, ideally longer. Digestion interferes with deep sleep, and definitely ditch stimulating electronics. Blue light suppresses melatonin and anxiety-inducing stuff like work email or doom scrolling for at least 2 hours before bed. Wind down.
Routines.
Absolutely. Establish consistent routines. Get natural sunlight exposure in the morning, walk outside 10-15 minutes. Help set your body clock. Practice meditation or NSDR, non-sleep deep rest like yoga nidra. Fix your wake-up time.
Even on weekends.
Even on weekends. Creates a strong circadian rhythm, makes falling asleep and waking up easier. And give yourself enough time in bed, a sufficient sleep opportunity. Aim for 8, preferably 9 hours in bed to allow for 7 and 8 hours of actual sleep.
Don't obsess over sleep trackers, but create the conditions.
Exactly. Provide the opportunity. Listen to your body.
So, for you listening, if you adopt only one new habit from all this, optimizing sleep might give the biggest bang for your buck.
Huge returns across all areas of health.
It's consciously creating that environment, that routine for restoration. Not just feeling better, but laying a foundation for metabolic, cognitive, emotional health for decades.
Improving resilience against the Horsemen, enhancing well-being, it's fundamental.
Which brings us to our final pillar,
Mm.
and maybe the most profound, emotional health.
Critically important.
That's saying, why would you want to live longer if you're so unhappy? It hits home. This isn't a soft skill. It's a vital part of longevity, impacting physical health deeply.
As much or more than diet and exercise, arguably.
And what makes this resonate is the openness about personal struggles in this area. The journey isn't easy or linear for anyone. It's a work in progress.
Absolutely. And acknowledging that, being vulnerable, seeking help, those are signs of immense strength, not weakness. To navigate life, build resilience, we need tools.
Like what?
Individual therapy is huge. Consistent work with a trained professional. It's a key tactic for self-discovery, processing trauma, challenging negative patterns, finding healthier coping ways. It requires believing you can change, believing you deserve better.
Free from unaddressed emotional pain.
Yes. And the story about realizing the universality of struggle, that shared vulnerability. It's powerful.
And specific therapies, like DBT.
Dialectical behavior therapy, developed for serious issues, but the skills are incredibly useful for almost anyone facing stress. It has 4 pillars: mindfulness, emotional regulation, distress tolerance, interpersonal effectiveness.
Mindfulness being key.
It's the foundation. Learning to observe thoughts, feelings without judgment, widening that gap between stimulus and response so you can choose your reaction instead of being automatic, impulsive.
And simple behavioral things help too.
Absolutely. Basic behavioral interventions expand that window for calm response. Regular exercise, good sleep, nutrition, strong social ties, time in nature, hobbies just for fun.
And for acute distress, when you're overwhelmed right now.
Simple sensory shifts can reset the nervous system. Ice water on the face, cold shower, the dive reflex, or slow, deep breathing, 4-second inhale, 6-second exhale, directly calms the fight or flight, instantly accessible.
And self-compassion, being kinder to ourselves.
Incredibly important, often overlooked. Actively check your self-talk. Would you talk to your best friend that way? Shift from harsh criticism to understanding. Remember, suffering often comes from ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, not the present moment itself.
Learning acceptance, presence.
Builds resilience. The message is powerful. If I can change, you can change. Your emotional well-being deeply impacts your physical health, your capacity for a long, fulfilling life, seeking support, understanding your past, learning new ways to cope, vital steps toward resilience and holistic health, making sure those extra years are truly rich, meaningful.
Wow. So, putting it all together, what does this mean for you? This deep dive has covered a truly revolutionary way to think about living longer, healthier, more vibrantly.
It's a big shift in perspective.
It demands that strategic mindset, being proactive, understanding yourself deeply, not just your symptoms. We've gone from lifespan versus healthspan to medicine 3.0, strategizing against the 4 horsemen.
Cardiovascular disease, cancer, neurodegenerative, metabolic dysfunction.
All supported by those pillars: exercise, nutrition, sleep, and emotional health. It's a comprehensive roadmap.
For a life lived with intention, with vitality. And the core message, to reiterate, is that longevity is a long game.
And a personal one.
Deeply personal. Be informed. Be medically literate enough to advocate for yourself. Be clear on your goals, aware of your risks, your predispositions, and remember how interconnected everything is.
Exercise, nutrition, sleep, emotional health, they all reinforce each other.
You can't neglect one without affecting the others. They work together. The goal isn't just slowing decline, it's striving to get better, building resilience, enhancing function throughout life. It takes patience, persistence, integrating these ideas daily.
Your personal investment in a future where you're not just existing, but truly living.
That's the aim.
So this raises a final important question for you, our listener, as you reflect on all this. Consider, what single, small, but powerful step will you take this week, to start building your personal longevity reserves, cultivating that physical vitality and emotional resilience for all the decades ahead. This was it on today's book, guys. Kindly subscribe and follow us for more such insights on various books, and also do not forget to join our social media community to stay in touch and get updated.